All right, let's jump straight into this explainer. Look, if you're a busy professional just trying to make sense of this incredibly fast-paced tech landscape, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to cut through all that relentless AI hype. You know exactly the stuff I'm talking about. And we're going to look strictly at the hard data driving the 2026 business landscape. We're moving way beyond the buzzwords to figure out what's actually happening on the ground, and more importantly, what it means for your strategy.
To really grasp the urgency here, just think about this one single number: 86%. According to some recent data from McKinsey, a staggering 86% of leaders are saying they're currently facing severe technological disruption. But here's the thing, it's not just tech operating in a vacuum, right? These shifts are compounding with massive economic pressures, and it's creating this overwhelming need for immediate structural transformation. Basically, you just can't wait this out.
So to help you navigate all this, we're going to break this explainer down into 4 quick parts: the compressing S-curve, the compressed talent pyramid, continuous trust and compliance, and finally, your strategic takeaways for 2026.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the compressing S-curve. Let's look at how the traditional life cycle of business strategy is fundamentally accelerating right beneath our feet.
Now, this research from Deloitte brilliantly illustrates our new reality. You know the classic S-curve of growth, right? That familiar, comfortable pattern of a gradual lift, rapid acceleration, and then an eventual plateau? Well, it's compressing. AI and workforce transformations are actually accelerating the climb and bringing that plateau much, much sooner. So those long cycles of planning and predictable execution, they just don't hold up anymore. Organizations are literally being forced to experiment and leap to entirely new curves way faster just to stay in the game.
And that brings us to a massive realization for 2026, captured perfectly in this insight from Turing. As AI expands across the enterprise, the cost of running these models, what we call the inference cost, is no longer just an IT headache. No, it's escalated into a full-blown board-level issue. This means organizations have to shift their strategy away from just chasing maximum capability and instead focus relentlessly on measured capability per dollar.
So let me give you a concrete example of what measured capability actually looks like. Take a look at this 30% figure. There's a Fortune 500 fintech company that completely rebalanced their cost and performance. How? They paired smaller, highly specialized models with retrieval augmentation, and the result was huge. They cut their inference costs by 30%, and they didn't lose a single drop of required accuracy. That is exactly the kind of strategic efficiency that's going to win in 2026.
Moving right along to Section 2, the compressed talent pyramid. Let's talk about how this rapid tech adoption is totally reshaping the structure of white-collar workforces.
For decades, industries like law and finance have basically run on this traditional pyramid model, right? You hire huge classes of junior associates to handle massive volumes of routine grunt work. Think document review, first drafts, that sort of thing. Well, that model is practically evaporating. The 2026 model is completely compressed. AI is stepping in to do that heavy lifting faster and cheaper, which means human workers are elevated to act as strategic reviewers and complex problem solvers.
Just look at the real-world impact of this shift, reported by the agency Recruiting. There's this small San Francisco law firm, and instead of replacing a departing 8th-year associate, they leaned heavily into AI automation. And wow, the results speak for themselves. A 27% drop in staffing costs while simultaneously increasing their profits. And get this, they did that while billing fewer hours. I mean, that is the power of the compressed pyramid in action.
But hey, let's be crystal clear about something. This absolutely does not mean humans are obsolete. In fact, it's the exact opposite. This shift actually makes human expertise the ultimate multiplier for enterprise AI maturity. Enter the AI architect. Organizations are desperately needing these human domain experts to steer their enterprise AI systems safely, ethically, and strategically. Because at the end of the day, your AI models are really only as good as the talent you have steering them. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, continuous trust and compliance. Let's dive into how this heavy reliance on AI is fundamentally altering enterprise risk, governance, and audit procedures.
The sheer scale of this shift is massive. I mean, the AI compliance automation market is absolutely exploding toward $28 billion. And according to some recent data from Sweep, 66% of audit professionals are already utilizing AI on a daily basis. They're using it to manage these constantly expanding, incredibly complex global regulatory frameworks. Why? Because the old, manual way of handling compliance just simply cannot scale anymore.
And honestly, the efficiency gains here are undeniable.
Check out this 70% metric from Terralogic. By shifting away from those scattered, messy spreadsheets and manual control tracking and moving toward automated, AI-driven evidence collection, companies are actually slashing their audit cycles by an incredible 70%. AI is basically acting as a 24/7 digital sentry for them, gathering logs and mapping them directly to frameworks.
But here is where you really need to pay close attention. When an AI generates documentation or actively influences a workflow or a business decision, those outputs stop being just nice-to-have, optional productivity artifacts. They suddenly become mandatory evidence. Your AI's outputs must be completely traceable, verifiable, and entirely defensible for auditors. There is absolutely no "the model did it" excuse when it comes to enterprise compliance.
And this strict necessity has birthed a whole new software category. What we're defining here is agent trust management. These are systems specifically built to map AI behavior, understand system dependencies, and essentially create a coherent, auditable narrative of operations. It gives you that absolutely crucial human-in-the-loop oversight that you need for secure, enterprise-grade AI deployment.
Okay, let's bring this all together in Section 4, Strategic Takeaways for 2026. Let's distill all these massive operational shifts into a concrete action plan you can actually use.
First up, as McKinsey points out, surviving this compressing S-curve requires extreme focus and discipline. You've got to have the courage to dynamically reallocate your budget and your top talent away from non-core assets to really fuel high-impact value creation. Success today is all about sensing change and continuously adapting your resources to meet it.
Second, if you want to free up the talent you need for that value creation, you've got to address this number right here, 209. According to Bloomfire, that is the staggering number of hours the average knowledge worker loses every single year to purely duplicative work. And it's usually just hidden away within fragmented information silos. You have got to eliminate this redundancy tax if you want your team to move faster.
Which leads us straight into your immediate 2026 action plan. Number 1, fund the truth layer of your data before you go investing heavily in the agent layer. Look, your AI is only ever going to be as good as the verified facts it draws from. Number 2, embed intelligence seamlessly into your daily workflows. Put it right inside tools like Slack or Teams to cut down on all that context switching. And number 3, relentlessly shift your strategy from chasing maximum capability to optimizing your measured capability per dollar.
As we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. Is your operating model stubbornly clinging to those predictable curves of the past, or are you actively adapting to the new, highly compressed, AI-driven reality of 2026? Because the data is crystal clear on exactly where the market is heading. What you take away from this and how you apply it to your own strategy, well, that's completely up to you.